Hey guys, it's HypeDubB. Don't forget to get your hands on exclusive designs and stunning artwork only on Teespring and Etsy. Wear your style and hang amazing artwork on your walls, so stand out from the crowd today and check it all out after this episode. Some items are limited, so don't miss out. Soon you can also get free prints when you subscribe to my ad-free podcast on Patreon for just $5. I'll share where to find those links at the end of the show, so let's get to it.
Minimalism, fashion, hype, and culture.
This is The Essential Podcast with HypeDubB.
Welcome back to The Essential Podcast with HypeDubB. I have Angel Gomez here with me again today. How you doing, Angel?
Pretty good. How about yourself, Woodward?
Good,
nice
man.
to be back. Nice to be back.
It's so good to be back. Man, it's been nice to finally be able to, put a podcast together.
Yes,
you
sir.
know. So today we're going to talk about Mental Health Awareness Month, which is a very, very important subject nowadays.
Yes. Very nice.
So today we're just basically going to talk about ways that we cope with mental health, things that we probably struggle through on a daily basis, and how to deal with things. There's a lot of craziness going on, right?
Yes.
I remember the first day of the year, that guy who drove into that crowd, New Orleans.
I don't remember that. Or I don't want to say when you say that, the first thing that popped in my head was that ship catching the bridge. Remember?
That's it. Oh man, yeah, that too.
I feel like that was a long time ago, but I feel like it was very recent at the same time. But I can't remember that. Yeah, they said there was a terrorist attack. I don't know. But yeah, it's been a crazy experience. But yes, mental health, the month is very important subject. Especially, I don't want to say because it's the month, because all year round, everybody goes through it.
Oh yeah. I guess one of the biggest things is being burnt out.
Yes, getting burnt out. So you feel like you're done. You're over it, out of energy, just everything.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's very easy to get burnt out. It's hard not to be.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like everything's going up, but salaries.
Yes, the price of eggs is ridiculous. I need to get some little chicks. It's like
Real.
open up my own farm at this point.
Start a chicken coop.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like you said, everything's going up. It just adds stress to the plate. You know what I mean? Only people can take so much, till they get to that point where they just want to, let go, basically.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays I can see why it's easy for people to just want to drop everything, but the reality is, we have responsibilities, bills, etc. I don't know how you deal with separating work from home. What are the ways you go about it?
Honestly, that's a hard question to answer because I feel like it's not almost to the point where you don't, you know what I mean? Because you come home, you shower, you eat, and you're already preparing for the next day, you know what I mean? So it's where's that break in between where you can actually stop thinking about work, you know what I mean? Because you're already thinking, oh, I have this to do next tomorrow, I have this to do, etc. So it's really hard to answer that question. I feel like, I don't know how to explain it, but you really can't, you know what I mean? What about you? How do you feel like?
For me, it's almost I have to train my mind to kind of have an off switch. For me, me doing stuff like this or doing something creative, it kind of takes my mind away from it. But at the same time, it just makes me that much more productive in what I really want to do. But it is hard. It's hard to switch that work life off when you get home. Like you said, you have to meal prep for work. You have to get ready for the next day. You have to mentally prepare for the next day. One thing I do find that makes it easier is physically writing yourself out a schedule.
Oh, okay. That's good advice.
And so it's when this time comes, I know that it's all right, I'm out of work mode. it's time to come home, spend time with family, friends, or whoever you come home to. I just try to have like a cutoff period.
That's very good advice. Never thought about it like that. And then even when you're at home, you stress about. I'm sorry. Even when you're at work, you stress about stuff you got to do at home. Oh, this got to be done. Got to mow the grass. Trash it tomorrow. Make sure the trash cans are out. Just really, different stuff. It's not really about work. How do you switch that mode? It's just like it's hard to balance. You know what I mean? And it takes a lot. And then I guess that's when it goes back to mental health. You know what I mean?
I feel like it takes a lot of discipline.
Yes.
A lot of discipline and just figuring out a schedule. I feel like the more you have like things you need to do organized, I feel like the easier it is because you can start scratching off the list one by one. I feel like the big problem that we have now is that we put too many eggs in one basket.
Yes.
And instead of looking at things individually, we look at them as a whole, and it feels more exasperating just thinking about it.
That's a good point, yeah.
One of the things that we're going to talk about today is like the stigma around mental illness and how to challenge it. I know there's still people to this day, no matter how much, research is being done, that are like who think depression is like something you put upon yourself. Like a lot of people still don't see it as like a illness.
They just think it's just
something that you can easily, get rid of.
Get rid of, yes. Because doctors just try to throw medicine on you, you know what I mean? And sometimes medicine like that don't work for certain people. And certain people turn to other stuff like drugs, alcohol, different stuff like that. I guess it's how a person really copes with it, you know what I mean?
Coping is definitely like a very important aspect of it. It can really make the difference between whether you get better or you live a short life. I guess, finding a different way to cope is something very important. A lot of people cope in like different ways. I know I mentioned this on the last episode. People cope artistically. Maybe people like to paint. Some people cope through cooking. Some people like to cook. I know you like to cook.
Yeah.
Some people may cope just going for a run. I know I used to do that a lot. It clears your mind a lot.
I wish I could cope with running because I would probably be skinny right now. But I think like with my personal experience, I cope with eating. So let me go get a cheeseburger. That sounds fat, but that's how I'll be like.
That's not good, bro.
Fuck it, let's go get a cheeseburger.
I understand though, because I have that problem. I'm trying to kick that bad habit.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm a stress eater.
Yes, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Stress eating.
Yeah, and I've been trying to find different ways to go around it. You ever try to keep your mind off something so bad you just try to go to sleep?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I guess that's what falls into depression too.
Yeah,
that leads into depression. And they're like, why are you sleeping so much? It's like sometimes you just don't even want to think about it. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just better just to sleep. I had to learn,
that wasn't a good way of coping either, because it's very counterproductive.
Mm-hmm.
It's yes, you're taking your mind off of it, but for how long and, how much are you actually achieving with this? It's basically just sticking something under the rug and sleeping it off.
Like kind of putting a Band-Aid over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah. Lately, it's kind of been like that, But as a man, you kind of just gotta brush your shoulders off and keep moving, nobody's gonna sit here and listen to you cry, and that's the problem nowadays. A lot of people go through these struggles and they have nobody to talk to, and they said, "Oh, there's help out there, there's help," but the people you want help from end up trying to turn their back on you and throw it right back in your face, and you're back to square one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely understand what you mean. Sometimes it can be hard trying to find the right help. But that doesn't necessarily mean that trying to find help is moving in the worst direction. Mm-hmm. The fact that you even give an effort to go find help, you're doing a lot more than a lot more people than you would think. Just finding someone to talk to is very important. One thing I had to learn that as being a man, your emotions aren't something that people connect to your manlyhood. And what I mean by that is it's like we feel as men that we aren't allowed to be as emotional about things.
Yes.
But the way of going about it is we have to find a outlet, a better way to express how we feel. Because when you allow, when you hold those emotions in, it eats away at you. And
it tends to just build up and build up. And the flick of a switch can set you off. You know what I mean? Some people think about it like he just blew up over a flick of a switch, but that wasn't the case. Yeah. It was everything else leading up to that flick of the switch that was your tipping point.
Yeah. It's like you have like an incident that's over like a small thing, but it's always never over just that small thing. Like you said, it's like a buildup of things that happen. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those things are things we go through that are unchecked because like we feel like we have no one to talk to or we're afraid to talk to other people. Mm-hmm. And one of the important things about mental health awareness month is stressing that, it's not good to go around carrying this weight. And one of the things I had to learn is like, I'm not alone. Like I have people there to help me better myself and help me carry that weight off. And so I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to stress about it no more. It's like, think of it as like a caterpillar, like going through metamorphosis. Mm-hmm. Like you have to crawl before you walk. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people assume it's like, okay, I'm going to get help. I get talked to for one day and I'm going to be fine. That's not the case.
Yeah, that's good.
It's not like an overnight thing. And I feel like nowadays people are too harsh on people who have depression. It's easier said than done to just soak it up and move on. It's like something that you have to carry with you until you figure out a way to work around it.
Mm-hmm. That's hard because then, some people don't figure out that way and then sometimes it's too late. And then people wonder why did you do that? That's selfish. But at the same time, like nobody understands the demons that people go to. People fight their own demons. And it's really hard. And people struggle every day on a daily. I know there's people doing worse, people doing better. But even I feel like the people that are really doing better, are they really doing better than you? You know what I mean? Is their mental health really? Because they always say money don't buy happiness, which is not true. I mean, which is true. But it's just, there's people like I seen on TikTok. There's this guy on TikTok. He was working at Discount Tire, and he just decided to cash in all his 401k. Did you hear about that?
No.
And he bought a sailboat, and he said, screw it, he was going to sail around the world, and he's probably one of the happiest people. Just him and his cat. Selling bro. And he probably has no worries. You know what I mean? Probably has no funds, but he's just sailing around the world. And those are the most happiest people.
I think what I really want people to understand is the reason for doing this podcast is for what you basically just described to me is how you can find luxury and simplicity. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is we don't realize how many things that we have in our life consume our time. And we don't realize how much of that time could be spent on working on our mental health. Mm-hmm. That's why I feel like minimalism is like the very overlooked aspect. It's not like just a trend. It's not just like a lifestyle. It's a way of thinking. Mm-hmm. So I feel like maybe if we just slow down and like rethink a lot of the things that we do, like a lot of things that we purchase, just being more self-conscious about our well-being.
Yeah, I guess it goes back to that. Yeah. Dang, I never thought about it like that. But yeah, it does go back to minimalism.
And, going back to what you said about you never know what a person's going through. Me being a person that has struggled with depression, I know firsthand is like what may seem like a very small or a minuscule situation to someone may like seem like a worst case scenario to mm-hmm. someone else. I had to learn that not everyone carries like the weight of an issue the same. Mm-hmm. Because what may be like something small, like I said, to someone may be like the worst thing in the world. You know, not everyone goes through things in life the same way.
Yes, that's very true.
So I think one way to help with mental health is if we just collectively thought about like other people's situations instead of, you know, worrying about like me. I feel like being unselfish, like mentally, not only helps you but helps other people.
Good. What's some of the best advice you kind of ever heard to kind of deal with your depression or?
I would say the best advice that I've ever gotten wasn't really an advice, but just someone basically giving me reality. They're like, okay, this happened, but you know, you're still here, you're still alive. You know, basically to focus less on the negative and focus on the positive aspects. And then once you're in a place where you find ground, you know, go back and then ask yourself, okay, what could I have done different to prevent this? Mm-hmm. Or if what happened could have been prevented.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of people carry guilt over a lot of things. And I feel like they just don't have people to tell them that, you know, some things that happen in life are out of their hands.
Yes. Very true. Some of the best advice that I got from my wife is she explained it to me kind of like, say you're going down the road and you have a blowout, you know, and you're in a rush to get someplace and you're like, damn it, like this is the last thing I need right now. And she told me, like, how do you know that like a couple more blocks you're gonna have a head-on collision? You know, how did you know, everything happens for a reason, I guess. Everything, she said, don't take it like in a negative way. Take it as, I'm not supposed to be there for a reason. You know what I mean? I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to do that for a reason. Even if it happens, it's the worst case scenario, like losing a job. You know what I mean? You're just like, what am I going to do now? You know, like, how am I supposed to make ends meet? And then next week you have a job offer that you never thought you can possibly have. So that's kind of the best advice. That's kind of the way I started to live, and just kind of like take it and accept it and move forward. You know what I mean? So don't sit there and dwell on it. Don't sit there and dwell on it too long, because another door is going to open. You know what I mean? And that kind of helps me with coming out of the depression stage and stuff, or coming out of a dark, because you can see the light. You know what I mean? It's like, it's going to be all right.
I definitely understand that. And that's actually really, really good advice. I remember being at a point where I was trying to figure out what I like really wanted in life. And one of the reasons why I'm so hell-bent on the concept of minimalism is because I really feel like I wouldn't be doing this or be here with you today if it wasn't for me discovering minimalism. And what I mean by that, it doesn't mean like it changed like every aspect of my life, but it made me see things differently. I remember days where I felt like I should be further ahead in life, like creatively, but I was so distracted with worrying about what I was supposed to be doing in life. I failed to see that I had no consistency or structure in what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to do all these things, but I never had anything like guide me. And for me personally, I feel like God put things in my life, good and what I perceived as bad at the time, to happen for a reason. I feel like if those things didn't fall in place, I wouldn't know that this is what I want to do. And look forward to today. It may be like small numbers, but now people are hearing my voice in Italy, Germany, like yes, major cities, Houston, Atlanta, you know, all these cities.
Fort Lavaca.
Right, and Fort Lavaca. And to me, that's amazing, because it allows not only me and you to have this discussion, which I feel like a lot of people should have, especially us men.
Yes.
But it allows other people across the world to hear our voices, and it's like a blessing to be able to know that maybe you're helping other people out there, and that's all I've wanted to do.
Help other people out. Yeah. That's very good because you, like they said, you don't know what a person's going through. Maybe somebody's listening to this podcast, sitting on the edge, and they're like, you know what? I have something better to live for. You know what I mean? I should just think about it. You know, you don't know. You don't know. And yeah, there's sometimes it's like, I'm glad, like, you know, even going down the road and you see somebody have a flat tire and you help them, you know, you're doing a good deed. You don't know that they can be going, like, that was their tipping point. You know what I mean? That could be, they have so much, they probably could just lost their mom, something, and that was the last thing that needed to happen until they just want to throw in the rag. And then here you come, you know, just not a normal day, but like just another day. And you're like, I should, you know, something's calling me to go help them. You don't know. That's why I try to help as much as I can, you know. I don't know. I do have like little side business, and like there's times where you just want to help out the next person, and you feel fortunate enough to do so. You know what I mean? So
I feel like life has a funny way of paying things forward in ways you never expect.
Never expected, yes.
Like, I can't tell you the last time anything went how I expected it.
Like the cruise, probably.
Yeah. But, you know, all in all, it's like, I'm thankful that I was here, like, there for that. Because there could have been a lot of times I could have been, like, down and out. And it wouldn't have led me to be where I was. It wouldn't have pushed me to go and meet my wife after the things I've been through in past relationships. Sometimes you just have to move on and reflect and just work on like being better.
It's crazy you say that because like I worked for FedEx, right? And I was a delivery driver out there in Edna. And when my boss called me, here goes back to like everything happens for a reason, right? What she told me. So something happened, something came up. I don't know what happened. I can't remember. I had got suspended for like the weekend. I did something. I messed up somehow. I got suspended for the weekend. And I was like, man, this isn't messing my paycheck. This is into this into that. Like, what am I supposed to say? And my boss called me and I was like, man, I hope he ain't trying to suspend me for more days. He was like, I'm going to give you a raise. So, you just suspended me. How you giving me a raise? And he said, I'm going to move you routes. And I said, okay. And at first I was a little upset because I was like, man, I already know my customers. I'm moving my routes. So the routes I moved to was a downtown route. Well, literally, I know I was delivering to my wife's job. And that's how we met. I delivered to her. And like I said, she's kind of the best thing that's happened. Like, but everything happens for a reason. I did not think I was going to get a raise. I did not think I was mad that I was moving routes. But yeah, it's crazy how life plays in your favor.
But like, I really think that my wife Brandy was really put in my life to kind of ground me. Like, really, like, if it wasn't for her, like, I feel like my mental health would be in a way worse place. I don't know, like, I've never had anybody who actually sat there and listened and actually helped me find a way of coping. When I was going through a lot of depression and I was like spazzing out, like she was there. Like, it's like she was trained to be there for me.
As crazy as it sounds,
yeah.
it could be true.
But to this day is like, I don't think I could ever like repay her. And I really think she was heaven sent in my life, because I personally don't know if anybody else who would have stuck, or I've never had anybody stick with me through the things that I've went through. And so sometimes I feel as though I carry a lot of guilt, but she always reminds me that it's all right, you know? So in a way, it's like she really showed me unconditional love. And that's one of the things I'm really grateful for.
I'm proud of you, Robert. But no, love is beautiful. You know, at the end of the day, it really is, and that can make or break you sometimes. You know, going back to mental health, if you don't have a right person for you or anything, like that person could lead you either way. It could lead you bad, or it could lead you very good. As crazy as it sounds, it really could. Even if you have it all, you know, you see people that have literally money, fame, anything they have ever asked for, and they go suicidal. And people say, for what? Because you don't know what that person's going through. You know what I mean? But yeah, it really is crazy how your backbone, like as a backbone, like that support system you have can benefit you either way.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people too tend to drift away because of either like just material items or just social media in general.
Social media is crazy. It's really like, is. It's a scary crazy almost.
It's like a double-edged sword. Mm-hmm. It could either like make you or break you. Mm-hmm. You can either utilize it in a way that helps you grow, or you can utilize it in a way that just digs you a deeper hole.
Mm-hmm. This is off topic, but like, I don't know. Did you hear about Katy Perry and Jeff Bezos' wife going to space?
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear the whole thing was a setup? Like, what? Yes. You didn't hear that? Like I said, the internet will break you down. Like they have video. Like you're supposed to open the spaceship from the outside, and that's the only way. Quote unquote, that's the only way. And so they opened it from the inside, and then they kind of looked at each other and said, "No, close it." And then he came with like a master key.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so it's fake, like, but like that goes to the internet where it can make or break you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't even trust the internet anymore, to be honest.
I really don't either.
Especially with like AI.
AI is crazy.
Now I'm not going to sit here and drag AI, because I do use AI. But it's only when I have like a creative roadblock, it kind of helps me open up like doors. Mm-hmm. But I feel like people are just doing way too much with it now.
Yes, like I seen it on TikTok. I found everything. See, that's another thing, internet. On TikTok. It shows social media. It's called like Chat GBT or something.
Yeah.
That's what you use.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Okay, and I would just be dumb, and I asked it. I said, "How do you roll a blunt?" That was the first thing that popped up in my mind, and it told you step by step. I was like, "Wow, this is crazy." It says you gotta break it, you gotta lift it. I was like, "What?" But yeah. That's crazy.
The only thing though about ChatGPT, I feel like it closes the door on creativity for a lot of people. Yes. Though it's like, for me, I have a limit. Like I don't ask it to plan out like my whole infrastructure. Like for this podcast, like to come up with some like ideas or dynamics of what I want to talk about. It came up with a list of topics about mental health awareness, but I'm not just like reading the script from ChatGPT. I'm like taking the things it's telling me into my own account. So, you know, so I can give people feedback on things that I really went through. So I use it in that way. I'm not sitting here, ChatGPT, what should I say on the podcast today, word for word?
That's crazy. And I never knew that existed, honestly. And I seen it. He was taking a video of his engine. He was looking under the hood and he was asking it like, "What is this?" And it was that's the airbox filter, and it does this, it does that. If you were to delete it, it would give it more horsepower. It was like I was like, "Dang, that's pretty cool." So I downloaded it and asked it how to roll a blunt. So I didn't use it. But no, that's crazy. I never knew that existed. I knew about AI, but never knew like the power. How do you say it? Like the strength it really does have.
It's terrifying.
It really is. It really is.
Like if anybody wanted to, they really could just start World War with AI right now.
Yeah, they really could. And the sounds like they bring to mimic a voice, to make it sound like they can put you in a place for you to kill somebody and then show them, and it looks so realistic. It's like, it makes you think to yourself, damn, did I really do that? Was that really me? It makes you second guess yourself, but it's crazy.
When it comes to stuff like that, it makes you wonder. It's like, what if somebody decides to use stuff like that in like a court case?
Yeah.
As like evidence, like fake evidence.
That's scary.
That's crazy.
What, like you said, it can make or break you. Because it could put you somewhere that you weren't even there. You can say, "Nah, this is me over here at the house." You know what I mean? It can make or break you.
I like also what you said about people who have less may be mentally more impaired than people who have more. Because it reminds me of, where year were you born?
What year? 1997.
1997. Okay, so you're very close to like the millennial stage, but at the same time, it's like you're also in the lane where you grew up with technology, like growing. Like, do you remember like the fiber optic cable?
We still
not fiber optic cable.
I was in the we still have that. We can talk about.
You remember like the dial-up, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and to think we've came like so far from that is crazy.
Yes, I seen like I said, I see everything on TikTok. This mom was asking the teenager said what Blockbuster was. And they're like, "Is that when you go around blocks and bust them up?" Or I was like, "What?"
I feel like we have to explain that to some people. I think we're confusing some people right now.
You remember Grown Ups when they go to the house? I think it's part 1. When they go to the house and Adam Sandler's kids say, "What's the big thing in the back of the TV?" It's like, that's a part of the TV. They're all used to flat screens and everything. But yeah, it's crazy.
It's like we grew up with the age of witnessing like the birth of viral videos. Like we grew up in the era where YouTube was just starting. And now you have people making millions from YouTube, which is insane. It makes me wonder, like, why I didn't go back and change my career path when I was in school.
But like I said, everything happens.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the dangerous things about social media is people go in this rabbit hole, and maybe looking back, maybe I was a victim also of falling into this sinkhole of I should be where that person is, or I should be ahead of this person. And I feel like even if people don't try to portray that image, I feel like the way algorithms work and nowadays is like they put popularity on top of, I feel like, what's real nowadays. And what's real is just sitting here, and what's popular is sitting here. And the problem with that is a lot of the popular that's up here is just a front. And portraying what's real. And I feel like a lot of people's voices get lost in that. A lot of the realness gets lost in that. And I feel like it leaves these people comparing themselves to all these famous like influencers and YouTubers, when behind closed doors, maybe their life isn't all perfect.
Yes. Right. Like, what they call it, social media parents, people, or even relationships, they post, "Oh, we did this, we did that," and that's the most terrible relationship they've probably been in. You know what I mean?
What trips me out is it's like my wife will be scrolling through TikTok, And I swear, every week there's like a new couple on there. Every week, and there's always some. It's like it like branches off into like drama.
Yeah.
It's like it's crazy. It's like I'm like, do these couples just get on TikTok and just create fake drama to get views? I don't understand.
Some people
what's going
do.
on.
Some people do. Some people try to look for that those likes and shares and stuff.
And it's like I'm not gonna say it's staged because I really don't know.
Yeah. So
But at this point,
honestly, like some things I'm like, that's fake, but some things is like, dang, like that's real. There's some things you just can't stage. You know, some things you just can't. Like that Drewski dude. I think all that stage. Like there's some things okay that's stage, but there's some things like you just can't stage. You know what I mean?
I definitely understand that. I'm just confused now. Like, where are they coming from?
I don't know.
It's like you're watching a TV show,
Basically.
and you get tired of that show, and you just click into the middle of the other show. You don't even see what's going on in the beginning. You just see the drama in the middle, and you're like, "Oh, I'm pulled into this couple now."
Yeah. And then they always have splits there. And like I said, that goes back to the power of social media. Because once they're famous, they feel like they're unstoppable, they're untouchable. And they can go back to behind closed doors, like they're probably really suffering mentally.
And I feel like it's just. I guess one thing I don't like about it is at the end of the day, it's like a very toxic thing. Mm-hmm. It's because, you're exploiting you going through these issues, but what are you doing for other people other than exploiting these issues for views and attention? A lot of the things, if they are real, a lot of the things that these couples go through is something that they should be dealing with personally behind the camera. Mm-hmm. I feel like if they want to really be an influence, then they should talk about how they actually get through things, instead of, doing crazy stuff on TikTok, oh, let me just threaten stab my boyfriend. Let's see how many views I get today.
That's crazy. But I'm glad we're able to talk about mental, because like I said, it is a very important subject. I know a lot of people talk about it, but it's real. Like you said, there's some things they're just real.
Mental clarity is like a really, really important thing. Like stress will literally kill you. It
will. Yeah. Won't that lead into a heart attack?
Yeah.
And
I know I've had stress-induced heart issues before.
Really?
Yeah.
At a young age, it blows your mind. You know what I mean? I want to say I'm young, but it's up there. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm like 80 or nothing, but it's crazy because I still feel young, but then I look at myself, it's like I'm aging, I'm getting old, but it's not that, it's the stress that's aging you. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's funny you mention that because I get all the time. I'm just an old soul in general. Mm-hmm. I prefer older music. I prefer older styles with a twist of modern. I'm not going to dive too deep into that, but it's like you said, we have things in our life that make us feel older than we should. Mm-hmm. I remember seeing this statistic where it was it's 60% or may not even be 60%, but it was a statistic where it said millennials are the most educated and the most ambitious, but yet they're the least earners, and they have the most difficult navigation through life. And it makes me wonder because it's this generational thing where each generation gets a blame for something. Mm-hmm. But it makes you look back and wonder how did millennials get put in this situation? And it's more so about how us millennials cope with things as well. I feel like our generation got lost in a way of learning how to cope. I feel like a lot of our generation is having trouble, getting that help. But I just find it crazy to be the most educated and have the most degrees, but we struggle to find the jobs in our field.
And people with no degrees with a trade, have more luck of finding a job. You know what I mean? Like welders. What else? It's a good one. Just electricians, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you might have to go to school for a little bit, but you don't have to go to school, put yourself in debt like doctors and nurses, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. Our generation's really, it's crazy, you know what I mean? Compared to when, you know, your grandma used to tell me, I mean, when your grandma used to tell you, like, oh, we had it so easy then, and why don't you have this? Why don't you have that? It's like, what are you talking about? Eggs is $10 a dozen. But nah.
Another thing with people's mentality is I think a lot of people don't understand it could also be a generational thing. Mm-hmm. Like you could generationally put this on your kids. Mm-hmm. Like mental stress, like the way they feel about themselves, like how you speak to your kids. A lot of that has to do with the mentality of how your kid grows up.
Yes.
And I don't think people realize how generational it can be. And when you have generations of like not coming from a place that you want to be in life, and you tell people, you know, or you tell your kids, oh, you're not going to get this far because this is how it's been for so long. It doesn't have to always be like that. I feel like a lot of people don't have people telling them that they can break the generational chain and do something different. And I feel like a lot of people are so put in this box by the people around them. And I feel like sometimes it's just the environment and the people you surround yourself with. And that's one of the reasons why I personally just have a small circle.
Yes.
Very small circle. I don't even call it a circle. It's like a triangle.
I know. Yeah. It's the people you hang around with. Like, there's this one song. It says, how do you expect to hang out with, how do you expect to soar with eagles if you hang around chickens? You know what I mean? And that's very, I know they always talk about, like, if you hang around 6 millionaires, you're going to be the 7th one. If you run, you know, it's just who you put yourself around, you know, that's where you're going to lead to. And that sometimes you have to cut people off, you know, not for just you, but for your mental self too. You know, some people can be mentally draining, you know, they want to bring you, of course you want to be there for them, but they can bring you so much stress. They can bring you their own stress, and then it just brings you down too. You know, that's another big thing too. I'm pretty sure, like, say you're a millionaire and you have people calling you, your quote unquote family calling you, asking for a handout, and like you want to say yes because that, you know, that's your family, but and then when you tell them no, they're gonna say, oh, you're this, you're that, you're this, because you know, it's like they're mentally draining you too.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, I'm glad you mentioned that too. That's one of the things I wanted to point out too. It's like sometimes you'll have people like that around you, and that's another way to, you know, carry that guilt. You feel guilty about not being able, or not that you're not able to help, but not wanting to help. But in some situations, the best way to help people is to allow them to understand that they have to be able to want to help themselves.
Yes.
They have to be able to want to put forth the effort. They have to be able to want to get better. Because if so, I mean, you're basically just putting energy and time into helping this person, but you're draining yourself in the process.
That's a very good point too. But like you said, it's just, you can't help everybody. You know, there's sometimes like you can't help that person on the side of the road because you don't, because you can't do it for yourself. You know what I mean?
Oh, I learned that the hard way when I got my phone stolen.
When?
This was when I was living in Houston.
Oh yeah, that's Houston, duh. Yeah. Duh.
But me being the person I was young, naive, didn't care.
Here you go. Sure, take my phone.
To this day, probably the dumbest thing I did.
Yeah. There's some dumb stuff I've done too, but never had my phone stuck.
But I mean, you live and you learn. If I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have learned that you can't trust people.
That's true, man.
Well, you can't trust certain people. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah. You got $20? But yeah. But I hope we were able to reach out to some people, crack some jokes, put a smile on somebody's face. That's always what you want to do. Even in the darkest times, you just try to put a smile on somebody's face. That's what my main goal is try to put a smile on somebody's face.
Yeah, that's a good goal to have. Yeah, it's crazy how much just putting a smile on someone's face can just change your whole day.
Yeah. Like, I know a lot of people are going to give me backlash, but I recently buried my grandma. She passed away. And she's being buried right below my mom, like right below her. And here I am, trying to lighten up the mood. I said, when we got there, I said, "Hey, Mom, guess what? We brought you a friend."
Oh my God.
Yeah, nobody thought that was funny. And then we were walking past her, and I said, "Move over, Mom. We're coming through with your mom." It's like, but at those times, like, you're supposed to, and like, how do you say it? Like, not supposed to be sad. A lot of people say, "Don't be sad, be happy." That's my way. I'm just trying to put a smile. Like, everybody's crying and stuff, and here I am cracking jokes. Like, but of course, like, you do miss that person,
Right.
and you do love them, and because they have a special place in your heart. But I don't know. I just like to. I guess that's my way of coping. You know.
I understand that, and I know a couple of people who actually cope that way, like with humor. I mean, I don't down anybody's way of like coping. If your way of humor is coping, it's coping. Yours just happen to be dark humor.
Yeah, dark humor. I'm bad with dark humor. I'm bad.
But I know at the end of the day, you'd give anything to have those people back.
Yeah.
So. But that's another thing too. It goes back to like understanding how people process things different. Someone may judge you like very harshly for the way you crack jokes, but they never know. Maybe that's the way you and your grandmother or you and your mother joke together, or maybe that's just like you say, just a way of coping. But you have to get to understand a person, and I'm not going to say before you judge them, but to process how they are. That's one of the reasons why I've always been like a very reserved person. I've always been more observant of people, because like every person, like I interact with them different, and some people might see that as being like a two-faced person, but really not everyone. You can't come at everyone the same way. And I feel like that's helped me out a lot in life, and that's how I end up being somewhat. I would label myself as somewhat of like a social chameleon, because I've dealt with many people on different aspects, like people who are like polar opposites of each other.
Yeah.
But I just know that person, and I know that's how they are. It's one of the reasons why at work I like working around the same people, because I know how they work. You ever worked around like a group and then they bring that one person in and they just piss everybody off?
Yeah.
But you end up liking the person because you're like, oh, okay, this person is like, okay, now I see.
Or people don't take it too serious.
Yeah.
But there's some people who are like to the T about everything, and that's why they can get mad. But
sometimes you just gotta like relax a little bit.
Yeah, relax, enjoy life. Because life,
it'll go by. Go by way too.
I don't want to bring down the mood, but I've been to I think that was my second funeral in 1 week. You know what I mean? And it makes you realize how life is so short, and it blows your mind sometimes. You know what I mean? That's why I say live your life to the fullest. Nowadays, it is hard to live your life to the fullest because financially or disability or anything. You know what I mean? But you just gotta live by day. I know it is hard, when people go through mental issues, struggling mentally, physically, emotionally. But there's always, how do you say it? There's always gonna be a way out. There's always gonna be a light,
There's always I feel like there's always a silver lining to something.
Yeah. So that's how I feel about it. It is easy to just throw in the towel and just
I've just kind of learned to just be grateful for what it is in life and learn to kind of cope with the cards I've been dealt with. It all goes back to my saying, simplicity is a luxury. It's like you might not have everything, but if you think about it, the people who have a better life overall, the word less comes in mind. Less things to worry about, less stress, less things they have to do, less confusion, less frustration. When you learn what to eliminate out of your life and what to actually put into your life, that's when you kind of learn to navigate. But you don't know that until you just go through life and live it. No one's life is you can't set your life on a planner. You can plan your life up to a certain point, but like we said earlier, life never goes how you expect it to. And just because it doesn't go how you expect it to doesn't mean that your life is just in ruins. It's just God walking you through a different path for a reason. You may not understand today, but you will understand later.
Yeah.
It's all about like just having trust in the process.
But yeah, like I said, I hope we're able to reach out to some people and help others. That's what you want to do, is put a smile, help others.
Like at the end of the day, I'd rather my podcast get like 10 listens and each one of those people listen and it helped either save someone's life or look at things in like a better way than to have 20 billion likes and only 10 people listen. Like I'd rather know that I'm impacting someone, because at the end of the day, that's all I want to do. To know, it gives me like a sense of, not saying I feel like I don't have a purpose, but it gives me a sense of purpose. It gives me something to push forward. You know what's crazy? It's like a couple of weeks ago, I saw that Houston ranked as one of the most unhappiest cities.
Really?
Yes, if not the most unhappiest cities.
It's crazy you say that, because I think I've seen on Facebook, it said like Houston's the most number one move out. Like everybody wants to move out of Houston. And I remember seeing something like that. But yeah.
Like, you know what I thought about today? It's like, do you know what's my most viewed or listened to episode right now?
Which one?
10 ways to simplify your life. And the most listens I got was out of the city of Houston.
Really?
Yes.
Dang. That's good. That's crazy.
So to me, I feel like that isn't like a coincidence.
Yeah.
But I feel like the things that I don't get on here to like preach. I just get on here to like share what I've been through and what I feel and what's helped me, because I feel like it would be selfish of me not to be able to help other people. And I always said whatever I wanted to do, if it was something that I could eventually make a living off of, it isn't just about me making a living. It's about me being able to do something good in the world. And I feel like this is just one way to do it. So to have seen that, it's actually a sad thing to see it, but it's also a good thing to know that I put a platform out there where people who are in this unhappy city are finding something. They're looking for an outlet. So it makes me happy to see that, and it pushes me to do podcasts like this. And like you said, I hope a lot of people listen to this. I hope it helps a lot of people. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Helping each other. You know what I mean?
It's not just growth for me, for them. It's growth for me and you as well. Like, I'm not one of those people who's like, you want to make $1 million? Get like me. Do like this. No. I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people who's like, hey, this is what I've been through. This is my experience. This is what I'm going through. Let's walk on this journey together. Let's figure out what we can do better, and let's put it out to the world. and let's figure out things. And I feel like that's just I feel like it's not gonna make the biggest difference in the world. God willing, maybe it does, but it's a start. So
Gotta start somewhere. But thank you for having me, Wilbert.
yeah, thank you, Angel.
Like I said, it is a tough battle, and everyone listening, just know that you're not alone. Don't feel like you're alone. Don't feel like you're the only one going through it. There is help out there. I know a lot of people don't like to open up, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to be willing to open up with open arms and accept it and move forward. It's kind of all I have.
Yeah. I think I just want to end the podcast with, in this day and age, there's just too many resources to not grasp help. If you feel like you can't see someone, there's lots of videos online explaining how to cope. You just have to find it. And it's not hard in like this technology driven age. I mean, even ChatGPT, I'm pretty sure they have instructions on how to roll a joint. They have instructions on how to deal with depression.
Yeah. Don't feel like drugs, alcohol, anything like that is the only escape, because there's 100 more things out there to escape darkness. There's a lot more to live for, stuff like that.
I don't think I could have said it any better. The only thing I'm going to leave it out with is I just want all the listeners to remember what I'm going to say every single episode. Probably going to get tired of hearing me say it, I don't care, but simplicity really is a luxury. And it can mean like multiple things. But today it means just try to find simplicity in the life that you have, and try to find the luxury and silver lining of every situation. Because if you don't, you'll just let it eat at you. And it's never a good thing. But yeah, always simplicity is always a luxury. Okay. But thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Angel. I'm so glad we were able to set this up.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you for listening. Before I go, thank you. I'm sorry if I missed a city. Thank you, Frankfurt, Germany. I don't know where in Italy. Thank you, Italy. Thank you, Palacios. Thank you, Port Lavaca, Houston, Austin,
Victoria.
Texas. Yeah, Victoria. Thank you, San Antonio. Thank you, Atlanta. I don't know what other cities. Thank you, New Jersey. Just thank you in general. Thank you guys so much for listening. Just the fact that you listen, like, it didn't put money in my pockets, but it made me happy knowing that someone out there is like hearing my voice, and maybe it's helping someone cope with something they're going through. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart to all my listeners. Thank you so much. And thank you, Angel, because your voice makes a difference as well.
Thank you. Thank you to all my listeners, 1 million listeners. Alrighty. Thank y'all.
Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to check out my Teespring merch and photography prints on sale on Etsy. The links to both will be in my comment sections and bios. If you want ad-free content and free prints, please go subscribe on Patreon. And don't forget to follow the podcast right now on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. And video podcasts will also be on my YouTube channel, Through the Lens with HypeDubB. You can find all of the links to these in my Instagram, so please go follow me at the official HypeDubB. That's the official HYPEDUBB. As always, thanks for listening, and remember, simplicity is a luxury. Catch you guys in the next episode.